Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thumb Together. Today is a very special, different kind of episode. We're not reviewing any particular movie today. This is a 2018 preview episode. I want to start doing these at the beginning of every year. And basically, I want to just look ahead at 2018 because that is a year that is stretching out ahead of us. We're already 2 months into it, and I want to take a look at the movies that are coming out, the bigger titles that are coming out this year, and tell you what I'm looking forward to, what I'm not looking forward to, and what I hope we can expect moving forward with the big apostrophe 1-8. So let's cut right to the chase. Let's take a look. This is our 2018 preview. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. So chronologically, I think the first one that's coming out the soonest to when this video airs is Game Night. That's the new comedy with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. The trailer for this I saw. I can't remember what I was watching when I first saw this trailer. It was back in like December or something. But the trailer just cracked me up. I'm a big game night guy. You know, my friends and I like to get together and play board games a lot. So the idea of a movie about that turning into this giant like spy chase thing. That sounds hilarious. Game Night sounds like it's right up my alley, but I'm a little bit worried because I'm going to say the past 6 years-ish maybe has not been kind to comedies. It just hasn't. I think the last comedy I can think of that really made me laugh, that cemented itself as a great movie, the last one I can think of is like I Love You, Man. Or Hot Fuzz, whichever came first. I think that I Love You, Man came first. And I don't know, maybe my memory's just not serving me right, but that's the last time I remember like a straight up comedy really just killing it for me. So I have trepidation about Game Night, but the fact that it is a movie about a bunch of adults having a game night, that, you know, I'm tickled pink by that. So I'm already on board. I can't wait to see it, but I'm going in cautiously optimistic. You better prove me wrong, Game Night. You better be great. Otherwise, I'll cry. Annihilation. That's the Natalie Portman movie where she's on a strange planet and she's finding aliens, and it looks really cool. It's got this, you know, old school alien feel to it, which I like. We haven't seen Natalie Portman in much lately. She's really been kind of flying under the radar. This might be a big comeback for her. As long as Annihilation is more like something like Alien or Avatar and less like something like that weird Tom Cruise movie, I think it was called Oblivion or something. That's the vibe I got from this, like a little bit of Oblivion mixed with After Earth, and I hope that's not the case. So hopefully Annihilation turns out good. It looks cool, it looks thrilling, it looks like there's some big juicy stuff in that story that they're saving, like some big spoilery things are going to happen that's going to turn that movie around and put it in a different direction. So I'm excited for that. Here's hoping Annihilation annihilates at the box office, and nobody will make that joke moving forward ever. I just cornered the market on it. A Wrinkle in Time. I have not read this book, but I've read some cliff notes about the book. I'm weird like that. I read a lot of cliff notes, but I know the gist of the book. I know how it works and what happens, and I know the whole philosophy of, you know, wrinkling time in order to travel. There's the way they set it up in the book is that if you have a blanket and there's an ant that wants to crawl from one end of the blanket to the other, it's going to take them a long time. But if you wrinkle the blanket, suddenly that ant can get there a lot faster. And that's where we get the title A Wrinkle in Time. This looks really cool. Visually, it looks beautiful. It's got that gorgeous candy-colored Disney look to it that we've come to love. Oprah Winfrey is in it, which is awesome. We got Mindy Kaling in it, which is even more awesome. I like what I see in these trailers, and I'm not sure what her name is, but that girl, the main protagonist, she looks like she's a really good child actor, which is good because that could make or break a movie like this. So I'm down for some time wrinkling. I hope it's got, you know, the magic stuff to it. I hope this isn't just another, like, remember the Bridge to Terabithia movie? That's what I hope this is not going to be. And some parts of the trailer kind of look like that, so I'm a little bit uneasy, but I have faith. I think this is going to be cool. I just hope they really tackle the heady stuff that this book's plot dives into. I mean, the time travel, the science, like there's some Stephen Hawking shit going on in this story. So let's hope that Disney didn't, dumb it down for kiddies. I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'm trying to hold that in check. Tomb Raider. That's not the theme song to Tomb Raider. That's the theme song to Goldfinger, and I just changed the lyrics. I don't think Tomb Raider even has it. Movies don't have theme songs anymore. That's kind of a sad thing. But no, Tomb Raider looks great. Alicia Vikander is awesome. She's a really talented lady, and by God, is she ever beautiful. Alicia, call me. Unless you're still with Michael Fassbender, then, you're happy with someone else. But otherwise, yeah, call me. But no, Tomb Raider looks wicked. It's got a cool vibe going for it. We say this every time. Every time a video game movie comes out, we say, this might be the one to finally break the curse of video game movies. I mean, with the exception of Mortal Kombat 1, I have not been entertained by a video game movie, folks. And I don't think anybody else in the world has either. So Tomb Raider might be it. It might be. I hope it is. I mean, dear God, like, how hard is it to make a good script out of a video game? I mean, come on. What stands out to me about the trailer is just how much this friggin' looks like the reboot of the Tomb Raider game that came out a few years ago. Exactly. Like, up to the weapons she uses. She's got that hook, that, like, red metal, like, ice pick hook. I mean, it is spot on like the reboot game, and the shipwreck and everything. So it looks like they're really paying attention to details, which is cool. Now I just hope that, they deliver, they live up to those expectations. And if they can do it, that's what we have to remember. If this works, it'll set a precedent. It'll create a bar that people can try to top in terms of video game movies. Because, like I said, still the owner of that bar right now, it's Mortal Kombat, and that's still a pretty low bar. We can get over it easily, but nobody has in like 25 years, which is astonishing. Tomb Raider, be good. And if Tomb Raider sucks, at least there's one other movie coming out this year that might nudge it over, but my bet is on Tomb Raider over that one. But we'll get there when we get there. Alicia, though, seriously, call me. Pacific Rim Uprising. For some reason, I'm one of the few people on the planet who really loved the first Pacific Rim. Everybody I talked to says they thought it was garbage. I don't know what planet they're on, but I thought Pacific Rim 1 was a ton of fun. Yes, it's a big dumb movie about big dumb robots that fight big dumb monsters, and almost every human character in it was a really buff, really good looking blonde guy. But I digress. That was a spectacularly fun popcorn movie. And it took risks. It did cool things. It felt like a cheesy 90s movie, but done in a good way. It felt like the best cheesy 90s blockbuster you could possibly imagine. And I know that sounds like it's not saying much, but trust me, it was a ton of fun. I loved it. I love Guillermo del Toro. I mean, his imagination's awesome, and he nailed it with that. I love the theme song by Ramin Djawadi. That is you want to rock out to a theme song? Pacific Rim's theme. Oof. God, it's sexy. So I have high hopes for Pacific Rim Uprising. I don't like the title. I gotta say, I think the title is boring. I mean, there are 20 million sequels to things that have been called Uprising. The original title was supposed to be Pacific Rim Maelstrom, which I really like because it fits the theme. It's about stuff coming up from the surface of the Pacific Ocean. You call it Maelstrom, baby. That sounded okay to me, but no, let's call it Uprising instead because that hasn't ever been done before. But regardless, John Boyega, he's my boy. I like that guy a lot. He's supposed to be the son of Stacker Pentecost from the first one, so I'm excited. I mean, I don't know what else they can do with this story, but they left, the world building left a lot of room to be explored in the first movie. So I'm down. And I hope that Uprising is good enough to make people rethink the original, because the original was, I think, a fantastic movie. Ready Player One. I know you can't tell because I don't have any bookshelves behind me, but I'm a book guy. I like me some books. I read a lot, almost way too much. That's why I've had to wear these since the 4th grade, because my eyesight is terrible. But one of my favorite books was Ready Player One. This book surprised the hell out of me. It was so much fun that I literally read it again a second time the minute I was done. And I've never done that with any book. This book is just, if you're into pop culture, period, no matter what pop culture, if you're into movies, video games, sports, fashion, whatever, if you're a pop culture aficionado, you owe it to yourself to at least read this book once. Because that's what it's about. It's about people who hold pop culture in a high esteem, and about people who are nostalgic, and about people who want to recreate things that they love from the past in as many different ways and shapes and forms as they possibly can. If you don't know the plot of this, I'm gonna try to run it down for you. It's like Willy Wonka meets World of Warcraft, if that makes sense. There's a very rich, like Steve Jobs kind of guy who makes a virtual reality video game that has pretty much every licensed copyrighted character in it, period. I don't know how he got the license to that, but this is fantasy, kids, so, you know, a man can dream. And he dies. This rich man dies, and he leaves his $1 trillion fortune, including control over the whole video game universe, up for grabs in a contest. So everybody in the world is playing this VR game and trying to win this contest. And some people want to win because, you know, they're poor and they don't have anything. Like the main character, Wade Watts, he's basically Charlie Bucket. He's poor. He's got nothing else to live for. So he's like, sure, I want to be a trillionaire so I can feed myself. And then there are some bad people who are already very rich, but they want control so they can be even richer and that they can do evil things. Trust me, I'm not doing it any justice. It's a fantastic book. I'm very, very excited for the movie. The book really glorifies the 80s in particular, and especially the Steven Spielberg moments of the 80s, E.T. and Indiana Jones and what have you. So it's very fitting that Spielberg is directing this movie. It's even more fitting that Alan Silvestri is composing it. I could not be more excited for this. Is one of the top 3 movies I'm the most excited for this year. But I have my reservations. Because let's be real, the book is always better. And clearly I have an affinity for this book. So I am 99% positive I'm going to walk out of this movie saying the book was better. So I'm already, preparing myself for that. But I think this could be fun. I'm really curious to see how they pull all this off. I'm an actor myself, and I actually tried to audition to be in this movie. Obviously, I didn't get the part, or I wouldn't be here right now talking about it, but that's how much I love this story. I wanted to be a part of it as soon as I heard they were making a movie. So, Ready Player One, I'm excited, very much so, but I'm ready to admit that you're not as good as the book, and that's okay. Rampage! Remember when I said that there was one other video game movie that might take the top spot if Tomb Raider doesn't do it? That's Rampage. Rampage was this very low-key but very fun game. I think it was on the Sega Genesis back in the day. It was one of those games that not everybody had, but there was like one kid in the playground who's like, have you heard of Rampage? You just run around destroying buildings and you're a monster and stuff. This movie looks like it's really just going balls to the wall with that. You got the giant ape, you got the giant lizard. I think there was another monster in the game, but I can't remember what he was. And of course you got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who everybody loves. So this is a recipe for a fun film. But will it break the curse of the video game movies? I don't think it will. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I want every movie to be fantastic. That's just how I am. I want everything to be amazing. I think between this and Tomb Raider stands a better chance of breaking the curse. But I'm not going to put it past Rampage. I mean, it's got the right ingredients. We just have to see if it makes the kind of dish that everybody can get on board with. And giant monsters wrecking cities, the track record for that lately is not amazing. I mean, there are people who liked Gareth Edwards' 2014 Godzilla reboot. I was not one of those people. Dear God, was I ever not one of those people. So it's still up in the air. You know, the world isn't hungry for this. I think if they were, this movie would have a better chance. But it might make them hungry for it. Rampage, I actually want Rampage to be the one to break the curse over Tomb Raider, because Tomb Raider is a very popular game. Rampage is not. Rampage was, like I said, one of those games that's kind of like almost a schoolyard rumor. Like that one kid, oh, Tommy's got this game where you play as like King Kong or whatever. So that, to me, like, just because it's this more romanticized blast from the past kind of game, that makes me more excited to see it break the curse. But I don't think it will. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong, baby, because we know Dwayne Johnson draws a crowd. I mean, Jumanji is still, today, at the end of February, Jumanji probably still made more money than I have all year. So I think that it's going to do well, but is it going to be a good movie? We have to wait and see. Just please let it be a good movie. I'm pulling for you, Rampage. I'll go see you. I'm pulling for you, but please be good. Then there's this little independent movie coming out that not a lot of people are going to see called Avengers Infinity War. Talk about giant, man. Talk about giant. Like I said, I have my top 3 movies that I'm looking forward to the most this year. Avengers is at the top of that list. Avengers is number 1 for me. It's Infinity War. I mean, we have been... the first 5 Marvel movies were building up to Avengers. Everything since Avengers, which is about 14 films now, has been building up to Infinity War. Ever since we saw Thanos in the mid-credits scene in Avengers, we have been coming to this moment. Oh, I'm excited. According to rumor, it hasn't been substantiated yet as far as I know, but according to rumor, this is a 3-hour-long movie, and that makes me very happy. If you know me, you know Andrew likes movies that are big. I'm a plus-size movie kind of guy. And this absolutely deserves to be 3 hours. Sometimes you just have to be long. I mean, if you go on Wikipedia, and there's like that bar on the right-hand side of the screen that tells you the director, the producer, etc., and then the cast list. If you go on Wikipedia, Avengers Infinity War, that cast list just keeps going, man. It doesn't even stop. It's hilarious. Every person in the world is in Infinity... I'm probably in Infinity War, and I don't even realize it. There's like 712 main characters in this movie. From what we saw in the trailers, there's a lot of action going on with Wakanda, which is cool because we're fresh off the Black Panther boat, and if you saw my review on that, you know I want me more Wakanda. And there's a lot going on with Thanos. It looks like Thanos himself and Wakanda are going to play big parts. I was a little bummed because initially this was supposed to be a 2-part movie, Infinity War Parts 1 and 2, and then they said no more Part 2. I was a little bummed by that because I like when there's Part 2s to something. But there still is Avengers 4, and it's still being touted as an Infinity War sequel. So I'm really confused as to how this movie is going to end, how it's going to play out. Apparently, Josh Brolin is playing Thanos in this Avengers 4, so I don't think, even in this 3-hour chunk of fiction that we're getting, I don't think they're going to stop Thanos. I think this story is going to continue into Ant-Man and the Wasp, into Captain Marvel, and then eventually into Avengers 4, whatever that's going to be. So I'm really just curious as to what this story is going to be all about. And that's what I like about this whole setup. It's not your typical superhero setup. I mean, in any other situation, we'd be saying, okay, even though this is Avengers, I know what's going to happen. They're going to fight Thanos, they're going to lose, they're going to regroup, fight him again, and they're going to win. That's superhero fiction. That's how it works. But not this time. It looks like this movie is going to lead into something bigger. I'm so curious how this ends. My money is on Captain America dying and Bucky taking up the mantle, but who knows? Bring on the Infinity War, baby. I cannot wait for this. Make it 4 hours. I don't care. Joe and Anthony Russo, make it 4 hours. I'm fine. I got a big bladder. I can take anything you throw at me. Deadpool 2. First Deadpool, magnifique. That's one of my favorite comic books. I'm not a huge comic book guy. I mean, I read a lot of Green Lantern. I read a fair share of Spider-Man. Mostly Green Lantern and Simpsons comics, actually. Those are my forte. But Deadpool is another big one that I will read as many issues of Deadpool as I can. At least I used to back in college. Then, back when I was in college, there was Cable and Deadpool. It was just a 50-issue series, and that was it. And I was digging it, and I got it. I have every issue. Now there's like 17 different Deadpool series going on. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, when Marvel knows they have a popular character, they milk it. And now it's, it's counterproductive because I don't want to read Deadpool anymore. I don't want to read 17 different comics. So I've been away from Deadpool for a long time. The movie came out, renewed my love for him. He's a great character. I'm excited for Deadpool 2. First of all, Deadpool's got a lewd sense of humor, so I am shocked. I was ready to put money on the fact that the sequel would have been called Deadpool 2: The Second Coming. But it's not called that. It's just called Deadpool 2, apparently, which is fine. I thought they'd, be a bit more clever with the titles since this is Deadpool we're talking about. What worries me about this movie is Cable. And here's why. Cable is a boring character, I find. In the comics that I've read, he's boring and he's unlikable. Now, maybe that's just because he's always hanging around Deadpool, and I mean, there's such a juxtaposition between those two that, of course, everybody's going to like Deadpool better. But I find Cable to be a huge prick. He's a prick, and he's a know-it-all. He's always, like, perfect. He's like, I've seen the future, so I know everything that's going to happen, and you can't beat me with anything because I'm super powerful, and what? And I'm just like, I don't like this dude. Like, why do I care about him? To top it off, he's being played by Josh Brolin. And I'm sorry, guys, but I think Josh Brolin is boring as F. I know he's playing Thanos, and I just talked about how excited I am for Infinity War, but I don't know, it's just... Josh Brolin is always the same to me. He's no matter what role he's playing, he's just like, I'm a quiet guy with a growly voice. I'm Josh Brolin. He could be playing Mr. Rogers. They'd be like, Josh Brolin, we want you to play Mr. Rogers, and he'd be like, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Josh Brolin. I'm not excited for Cable at all. I was on board the Stephen Lang train because at least Stephen Lang looks exactly like Cable, and I like Stephen Lang, so that would have made me like the character. But now I have a character I don't like played by an actor who bores me, so I'm a bit worried about Deadpool 2. I'm going to be honest, and I hope that Deadpool himself, the character, makes Josh Brolin as Cable tolerable, because otherwise I'm not looking forward to seeing I'm a time traveler from the future, Josh Brolin. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Solo, a Star Wars story. This is one of my other top 3 films that I'm looking forward to the most. Probably number 2. Solo, I mean, you guys know I'm a Star Wars guy. I'm excited for Solo. My buddy James Brazile from Rebel Scum Podcast and Digital Charcuterie, he thinks this is going to be the 3rd best Star Wars movie of all time, and I hope he's right, because I want every Star Wars movie to be amazing. I want every movie to be amazing. And I have high hopes for Solo. The cast is fantastic. I'm particularly can't wait to see Donald Glover as my boy Lando Calrissian, because that's just perfect casting. He looks like he was born to play that role. I think we're getting some surprises in this film. Maybe not huge ones, but at least one big one that'll make us see the Star Wars universe in a whole new light. But whatever they do, I'm sure I'll have fun. I hope it's great. I hope all the behind-the-scenes rigmarole didn't affect this in any negative way. I trust Ron Howard. And I can't wait to hear John Williams' Han Solo theme. Even though he's not scoring the whole movie, he is making a theme. And if it's as good as the music that we got in that trailer, which I'm sure was just a temp track, but if it's as good as that music, this guy's sold. This guy right here. Ocean's 8. That's an M. That looks like an 8, kind of. I like the George Clooney Ocean's 11 trilogy. I like it better than the Frank Sinatra original. That one didn't really do it for me. Everybody has fun with heist movies. It's always fun to see a group of characters that you like successfully pull off a heist and then reveal, almost like a magic show, but better, how the heist was pulled off. And Oceans 11, 12, and 13 did that really well. They kind of fluctuated in quality. They had parts that were great and parts that were not great at all. But overall, it was a fun trilogy. I'm assuming this is going to be a trilogy too, because they're starting with 8. So I assume they're going to go 8, 9, 10, and then we already have 11, 12, 13. So I'm assuming we're getting Ocean's 8, 9, and 10. Ocean's 8 looks like a lot of fun. These ladies look fantastic. I can't wait to see what they do. It's going to be great. I can't remember what they're robbing. I mean, it was a long time ago when I saw that trailer. It was a fun trailer, but it's been a minute. I hope it's not a hotel and casino in Vegas, just because I want them to kind of save that for a sequel. But I'm on board. I'm really excited for this. I hope the characters are going to be as cool as I think they are. And if this takes off, which I'm sure it will, I'm sure it's going to do fine, I can't wait to see who they add in 9 and then who they add in 10, because there's some great ladies out there I can think of who would be fantastic for roles like this. I actually want to see Emilia Clarke in one of these movies. She always does these big bombastic things. She's the Mother of Dragons. She's been Sarah Connor. Now she's going to be Kira in the Solo movie. But I want to see her play this kind of like down-to-earth character who might be a little bit sassy, who robs stuff. I want to see Emilia Clarke play that. I think she can do it. I believe in you, Emilia. Ocean's 9. Hashtag Emilia for Ocean's 9. Hashtags just come out of my mouth willy-nilly. The Incredibles 2. Let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you something about The Incredibles. When that first movie came out, I was in the midst of high school. I still remember it clear as day. And it took the world by storm. Everybody was blown away by how good Pixar made this movie. And I think since then, there's been countless memes online about how Fox tried 4 times to make a Fantastic Four movie, failed every time. Pixar made one Incredibles movie, and people are like, yep, that's a better Fantastic Four movie than every Fantastic Four movie we've ever had. The Incredibles is amazing. I haven't seen it in years, so I hope it still holds up. I'm going to try to rewatch it soon to get myself in that groove. But The Incredibles it came out at a point, like I said, I was in high school. Me and all my friends were talking about it. It was the toast of the town. And we have been waiting, sometimes patiently, sometimes impatiently, for Brad Bird to make a sequel. And I think, if I remember right, Brad Bird got offered a Star Wars film. And he was like, I really want to do that. But first, I finally have a good idea for Incredibles 2. So I'm going to give the fans that first, and then we'll talk Star Wars. Which is great, because I love Brad Bird. I mean, if you're a Simpsons fan like I am, Brad Bird was involved in the old school Simpsons too. So this guy, he's been around. He's great. He's fantastic. The fact that we had to wait so long normally would make me uneasy with sequels. But in this case, I'm very confident with Incredibles 2. Because I believe, and Brad Bird has said multiple times, he's not making this sequel. People have been screaming for this sequel. You don't understand. Since the day the first Incredibles came out, people have been screaming for a sequel. Every time we've gotten Cars 2 and Cars 3, people are like, screw Lightning McQueen, where the hell are the Incredibles? And Brad Bird has said multiple times, I'm not making a sequel until I know I have a good story on my hands. And now I think he does. Because we're finally getting it. It's finally here. Well, it's not here yet. We're still another 3 months out, but it's finally coming. And I cannot wait. Pixar barely ever disappoints. Barely. But I can't wait to see these characters again. And I have faith that Brad Bird is going to knock them dead once more. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Grant, welcome to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Doesn't have the same ring to it at all. Jesus. I liked Jurassic World. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really cool. It was a good return to form, but I'm worried because the 2 trailers we've gotten for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom have been really bad. I have not liked either of them. The first one, the one that starts with the jukebox playing Anyone Who Knows What Love Is, it really underwhelmed me. I did not care for that trailer at all. And then the Super Bowl trailer, I thought that was even worse. I thought it was so bad that I don't even remember what happens in it. That's how little an impact it made. So the marketing campaign for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has been abysmal. So I'm a bit worried. There's lots of action being shown on the island with the volcano exploding and everything. And it looks weird. It just looks off. I think there's only one logical place for the Jurassic Park story to go. If you're going to keep making sequels to this franchise, we need to start getting into the nitty-gritty. We need to turn this into a dystopian future. If I was writing the series, that's exactly what I would do. And what I mean by dystopian future is this. Okay, they have to get the dinosaurs off the island. The park is closed. There's been too many deaths. But the dinosaurs get to the mainland and start breeding uncontrollably. Life finds a way. And now, fast forward 2-3 years, we are now living in a dystopian future where humans and dinosaurs are coexisting on the mainland and all the adventures that could be had therein. That's what I want to see, Universal. I mean, I love humans out in the jungle hunting and in turn being hunted by dangerous dinosaurs. But we've got 4 movies of that already. It's done. We're good. We can move on now. And if this continues that trend, I'm going to be super bored. So that's what I want to see, guys. I want to see dinosaurs not just rampaging on the mainland like at the end of The Lost World. I want to see literally, jump to the future. Not too far. You don't have, Chris Pratt doesn't have to be an old man now, but jump like 2 years in the future after the dinosaurs are brought to the mainland, and it is, for lack of a better term, Mad Max with dinosaurs, just not, in a desert. I mean, there's quarantine sections of the world, where dinosaurs are, but they keep coming out and intermingling with humans in mostly dangerous ways. There are so many stories you could tell in a setting like that. That's all I want to see now. Like, just give me that Jurassic World. Please give me that. Don't give me more island stuff. We're done with that. So I don't know if this is going that route. If it is, fantastic. I can't wait. If it's not, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to have a sad, frowny face. Fallen Kingdom, I hope, refers to our kingdom. I hope it refers to the fact that the humans now have to do what they have not been good at for thousands of years, share the planet. And I would be very excited to see what could spring forth from that if only Universal plays ball and gives us that cool dystopian dinosaur future, because honestly, where else can this franchise go at this point? So don't let me down, Jurassic World. Please don't let me down. Sicario 2 Soldado. Sicario was one of my favorite movies of, God, whatever year it came out. I can't even remember. I think it was 2015. I want to say 2015. Sicario just surprised the hell out of me. That is an intense effing movie. And if you like either thrillers or action films, you owe it to yourself to watch Sicario, because that was a phenomenal piece of film. I don't think it needed a sequel, though. It didn't. And the trailer for this new one, goes out of its way to say, it says something along the lines of, the Sicario saga continues. I don't know if I would have called Sicario a saga. I mean, it's not an epic film by any stretch of the imagination. It's a very intense, emotional, intimate film. And it's got a small cast of characters, only 2 of which are returning for the sequel. I'm glad Emily Blunt is not coming back, because, her story's done, but they are bringing back Benicio del Toro, and they are bringing back Josh Brolin. I'm going to take on drug dealers. I'm Josh Brolin. I don't know, guys. I loved Sicario a lot. It was hauntingly good. If they can make this, on par with that, fantastic. I'll give them a round of applause. But this is one of those sequels I don't think anybody was asking for. I mean, people who loved that movie were not asking for a sequel, but now one is coming. So I have trepidations, to say the least. The title doesn't wow me. Sicario 2 Soldado, I don't know, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. But that's just a minor nitpick. I am holding out hope. Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're Ant-Man and the Wasp. One is an Ant-Man, the other's a Wasp. I hope that's not a thing that gets sung in the movie. The first Ant-Man was a lot of fun. Very surprising, very cool. But I think it has a lot of potential to be even better. I think there are a lot of parts that could have been, upped in terms of quality. And I hope that this sequel ups those parts. I hope this brings the rain and this really just takes everything that was great about the first one and amplifies it and learns from all the mistakes. Because that's what a good sequel is supposed to do, boys and girls. It's supposed to learn from the mistakes of the past. And I think this has that potential. I really do. I love Evangeline Lilly. I can't wait to see her get into the battle gear and suit up as the Wasp. We got Michael Douglas back, which is great. Everything is falling into place for this to be good. They always come on the heel of an Avengers film. The first one came right after Age of Ultron, and now this one is coming right after Infinity War. So it's going to be weird going from Infinity War, which from the sounds of things is going to end on a cliffhangery, scary, dark note, and then go into the fun, wacky adventures of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know how this is going to work unless the story here takes place before Infinity War. I'm really curious. The villain, I think the villain's name is the Ghost. We only saw a snippet of him or her. I don't even know if who the Ghost is, if it's a man or a woman. We saw a snippet of them in the trailer. It's a great trailer. It looks even better than the first already, and that's what I want to see. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, of the 3 Marvel movies coming out this year, you were at the bottom of the totem pole for me, just personally. I mean, because Infinity War is Infinity War, and I was just really super stoked for Black Panther. But that doesn't mean I'm not excited for you, and I can't wait to see what you bring to the table. Keep expanding that gorgeous Marvel Universe, baby, because it's doing great. Alita Battle Angel. I'm not an anime guy, so I don't know anything about Alita Battle Angel. I know James Cameron produced it, and I used to read Wizard magazine like 10 years ago, and I have an issue of Wizard from like back in 2007 that was talking about James Cameron wanting to make an Alita Battle Angel movie. So James Cameron is the guy who keeps ideas on the back burner for a long ass time, and looks like it's finally come to fruition. We're getting this movie that he's been planning since at least 2007. Is it going to be good? I don't know. Like at this point, as far as James Cameron is concerned, I just want to see Avatar 2 already. I mean, Jesus Christ. How long do we have to wait for those movies? But like I said, I don't know anything about the Alita story. I'm not an anime guy, so I don't know if it was a great story or not. I've heard good things, so here's hoping. But yeah, that's really all I can say. I'm excited for it. I don't know who's directing it. I know it's not James Cameron. He's just producing it. But let's go. Let's have angels battle. Why not? I'm down. Skyscraper. I did not know this movie existed until I saw the Super Bowl trailer, and now I cannot wait for July to come because this movie looks freaking dope. Okay? Forget Rampage. This is the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie that I've been waiting for my whole life. This looks so cool. It's got elements of Die Hard to it. It's got its own neat spin going on. I mean, what I love about stories like this is this didn't have to take place in the future. This didn't have to take place in this like Blade Runner-ish society, but it does. Just because they can do it. And that's what I love. They're using their imaginations. You've got this, near future city with this ginormous skyscraper, and Dwayne Johnson has one leg, but he's the security guy, and he's got to limp his way through all these terrorists. Oh my God, I can't wait for this. This is like my number 4 most anticipated movie of the year. And I did not know it existed until the Super Bowl. Is it July yet? Is it July yet? Please let this be good. Mission Impossible Fallout. Mission Impossible breaks all the rules. It really does. This series just breaks all the goddamn rules. The first one, way back in I think the 90s, I didn't like that movie at all. I thought it was weird and just dumb. I was not a fan of Mission Impossible 1. I did play the Nintendo 64 game a lot, though, which is odd. Mission Impossible 2 I thought was even worse. Tom Cruise with his mullet riding around on motorcycles, and it's like, dude, come on. Get over yourself. So that franchise, as far as I was concerned, was just garbage. It was just a waste of time. Then 3 came out. Then J.J. Abrams gave us MI3, and that was a turnaround and a half. That was a fun-ass movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a great villain, and ever since that point, I remember people wanted him to be a James Bond villain, but sadly we lost him before he ever got a chance to make that a reality. But MI3 was super sexy. Then we got Ghost Protocol, which I liked even more. Ghost Protocol is still my favorite Mission Impossible movie. I loved the hell out of that movie. Then we got Rogue Nation, which was still fantastic. I mean, I didn't love it as much, but I really liked Rogue Nation. And now we got Fallout. We got Mission Impossible 6. We have reached the 6th movie. Usually series go downhill at this point, but no, Mission Impossible got better and better and better, and then slightly worse, but still good. And now I hope it gets better again. I hope that, it didn't peak with 4, and now it's going back down. I hope Fallout rocks the Casbah. I hope it's great. It looks like it's sort of an all-star compilation of everybody who's been a major player. I mean, Ving Rhames is back. And he's back like substantially, not like the cameo he had at the end of Ghost Protocol. So I'm down. I want to see more. I don't think it'll top Ghost Protocol for me, but here's hoping Fallout does the job. Christopher Robin. I cry like a baby whenever stories about Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin's relationship, come to the forefront of things. There's something about, a little boy who grows up and leaves behind his childhood and leaves behind his teddy bear that just hits me right in the feels. I mean, hell, I've got a teddy bear that I've had since before I was born, and he's not going anywhere because that thing is like more precious than gold. And so the whole Winnie the Pooh story always kind of touched me on that level. And this movie looks, from what I've read, it's about Christopher Robin as an adult who comes back to, his childhood home, and the toys kind of have to remind him about what things were like back in the day. It sounds kind of like Hook, but hopefully good. That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm pumped for Christopher Robin, but I know to put the brakes on my expectations because it could go either way. But I know either way, I'm bringing Kleenex to that theater because I'm going to need it. The Predator. We've been hearing about Shane Black rebooting The Predator or making a sequel to Predator. Shane Black has been doing something in the Predator world. I think Arnold is back in this. I think we're getting Dutch again, which it's about goddamn time, if you ask me. I liked Predators. I was down with that, but that didn't really go anywhere. So at the end of the day, if you're going to give me a franchise movie, make sure it goes somewhere. Otherwise, you just waste my time. But I liked it. So I hope The Predator can top that, and I hope it can kickstart this franchise again. Because personally, I like Predator better than Alien. I kind of do. So I hope we get... this franchise deserves to have more to it the way Alien does. I still love Alien, but I think Predator is just a much more interesting creature and it deserves it more. So I hope Shane Black can bring that, and he's good with stuff like this. So I got high hope. Venom. I don't know, guys. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Sony didn't just shit the bed. They diarrheaed the bed and then puked onto the diarrhea. I mean, at least with Homecoming, Marvel had its way with it. Marvel's hands were there. With Venom, it doesn't look like that's the case. It doesn't look like Kevin Feige is involved with Venom at all. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he is. This looks like it's strictly a Sony thing. And I'm sorry, but I just don't think Sony knows how to deal with these characters. I don't. The thing about Venom, I really like him. I think he's a cool villain, but he is cool in that he is the dark version of Spider-Man, both physically and metaphorically. I mean, he looks like Spider-Man, but more jacked and all black, which that alone is a cool, that's a cool image to put in your head. Like, here's this guy, he's our hero, he's in red and blue fighting this bigger, bulkier, black version of him. That just looks cool. When Venom and Spidey are together in one shot, it looks cool. That was what I was really excited to see in Spider-Man 3, was shots of Spidey and Venom together, because just when you see them on screen together, they look neat. And it doesn't look like we're getting that this time around. It doesn't look like Spider-Man is in this movie very much, if at all. So already we're losing that aspect of Venom. Venom also, his uniqueness and his power comes from the fact that he was born of Spider-Man, which is why he looks the way he looks, why he looks like he's wearing a Spider-Man suit. And because the symbiote was attached to Peter Parker, he knows who Spider-Man is, and he doesn't trigger Spidey's spider sense. All these things make Venom interesting. This is why people loved Venom in the comics and in the old cartoons, because of these little things. these little attachments to Spider-Man. And if we're not getting that in this movie, then why the hell are we getting a Venom movie? Why, what are you going to give us with Venom that's going to make us excited? Because what made us excited about Venom in the first place was his connection to Spider-Man and how they looked together when they fought. Unless Sony has an amazing script up their sleeve that makes me say, wow, this Venom is even cooler, I can't wait to learn more about this guy, then I don't think this is going to be a good movie at all. I literally think this is going to be like X-Men Origins Wolverine levels of bad. I'm going to see it because I like Venom, but I'm not, I'm not going in there with high hopes. I'm not even going in there with medium hopes. I'm going in there with low hopes. And hopefully that'll salvage something for me. But as far as I'm concerned, Sony no longer has any right to make superhero movies. Like, they don't. They've proven that they can't. So, here's hoping I'm wrong. Halloween! I love the original Halloween. Like, with all my heart. I love it. And I also really liked Halloween 2. I thought it was decent. And sidebar, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, even though it has nothing to do with Michael Myers, is my favorite Halloween movie. And you need to watch it. I don't even... Stop this video and watch Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Oh my god. Talk about, bad movies that are just fun to watch. I love that movie so much. But the Halloween franchise is really good. It's probably my favorite horror franchise next to Saw, if Saw even counts as horror. It's been, there's been like 9 sequels. One of them is one of my least favorite movies ever made. That would be Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. The less said about that, the better. Then Rob Zombie made a couple. They were meh. Especially the second one. That was mega meh. Then we got Halloween H2O, which was kind of neat. And it put a cap on everything, but no, they had to make more. So now here comes another Halloween. I think John Carpenter is still involved with this, which is interesting. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. If I'm not mistaken, the original Michael Myers is back. That is insane. So all these elements are together. It doesn't even have like a number or a subtitle. It's literally just called Halloween again. So I'm really curious what this movie is going to be about. And apparently it ignores everything after 2, I think. It either everything after 1 or everything after 2. If you're going to make another Halloween movie at this point, it better deserve to exist. You better have a damn good reason for making it. So let's hope that this finally puts a cap on this franchise and we can finally move forward and wash our hands of it and say, yeah, that was fantastic. The end. X-Men, The Dark Phoenix. I'm so glad this movie is the thing, guys. I really am. Because there was a lot of talk after Apocalypse that was it for that version of the X-Men that we had. The James McAvoy, Fassbender version of the X-Men. And I thought that was a huge wasted opportunity. I mean, yeah, it was a trilogy. We had 3 of them. But why do you have to stop at 3? Why is, what's wrong with 4? Why are you so afraid of the number 4? And I'm so glad we're getting this now. Because Apocalypse gave us a new Jean Grey, a new Cyclops, a new Storm, and a new Nightcrawler that we didn't have in either First Class or Days of Future Past. So I wouldn't have felt right just ending there when you introduced 4 huge major players and then just did nothing with them again. So I'm glad we're getting Dark Phoenix. I can't wait. This was not done well. Brett Ratner with X-Men 3 did not handle Dark Phoenix well at all. So I hope and pray that they do it right this time. It's being set in the 90s, which is cool. We'll see some cool 90s features to it. I mean, this whole series has been great with showing us time periods. I heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, but I heard a rumor that the composer of Dark Phoenix is sneakily inserting the Fox 90s X-Men cartoon theme somewhere into that movie. And if that is the case, if I'm sitting in that theater and I hear that theme music, I will pee myself with joy. Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Can't say I love the title. The Crimes of Grindelwald. It sounds weird and preachy. I don't know. Something about it just sounds weird. I think in general, the name Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is not the kind of title that should have a bunch of sequels following it, because it does not roll off the tongue at all. But okay, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. The first one was decent. It was a fun time. I mean, it did what I hoped it would do, which was really expand the universe of Harry Potter. One of the things I always like to joke about is I've always, after Harry Potter, came out and was on, I wanted to see what wizarding school was like in like Malibu, California, when it's like a bunch of valley girls and they're like, oh my god, Expelliarmus. So I've always wanted to see like the American side of wizarding school and just how that works, because we saw the whole European side in Harry Potter already. So we get to see a little bit of American wizards in Fantastic Beasts, which is cool, but it's still set in, it's a period piece, it's not modern. But I liked it. I liked the world building a lot, but it left a lot of stuff open, which was cool. And I just hope now we can focus less on the beasts, because I gotta be honest, the animals in Fantastic Beasts were the most boring part of that movie. I mean, they were cool to look at, but I mean, you spend 20 minutes just chasing a rhino through a park, and it's like, guys, come on, we can do better than this. It was not as dense as a Harry Potter story. Every Harry Potter book / movie was dense. It was bursting at the seams with lore and information and characters and history. And Fantastic Beasts was not. At least the first one was not. So I hope now, I think there's supposed to be 5 of these, I think. So I hope the next 4, or however many they're going to be, take that to heart and make it dense. Because that's what I want to see, baby. Creed 2. I love Creed so much. I'm a huge Rocky fan. I was not expecting Creed to be good. It was better than good. It was great. It continued the Rocky story while setting up Adonis Creed's story. Everything about it was fantastic. My only fear with Creed 2 is it's not being directed by Ryan Coogler. And Ryan Coogler's directing was, for me, the star of the show with Creed 1. But I'm still excited. I still cannot wait to see Creed 2. Apparently, Ivan Drago's kid is now fighting Adonis Creed. And Ivan Drago himself, Dolph Lundgren, is coming back. So we're going to get Stallone as Rocky, meeting up with Ivan Drago, being played by Dolph Lundgren again, so that's great. But the crux of it all is that Ivan Drago killed Apollo Creed. So Adonis Creed is fighting the son of the guy who killed his father. If you're going to make a Creed 2, goddamn, that's how you make a Creed 2. That's the next step. That raises the stakes tenfold. I mean, it's not just pretty Ricky Conlon anymore. It's the son of the guy who killed your dad. So that is genius. Whoever thought of that was brilliant. I don't see it as fan service. I see it as story service, as far as I'm concerned. This is how you tell the next chapter of Adonis Creed's life. So Creed 2, bring it on, baby. Cannot wait. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wreck-It Ralph 2. I liked the first Wreck-It Ralph quite a bit. I thought it was very creative. It was very fun. It wasn't Disney's best animated movie in the last 10 years, not even by a long shot, but it was fun. It had a lot of things going for it. I want 2 to be even more creative. I want more. Give me more. Give me more worlds, more video games, etc., etc. Now it's about online gaming, so I don't know how that's going to work. I like the old arcade setting. I like the 8-bit look of those characters. So I'm cautious. I mean, Disney sequels don't have a great track record, guys. I mean, let's be real. Hell, there's a Bambi 2, for Christ's sake. So let's be cautious about this one. But if it does well, I think we might have a really good series on our hands. I mean, video games, that's a well that you can really start tapping creativity-wise. What I want to see, even though I love the original characters, I want to see like one main character who is a pre-existing video game character. Whether it's like Mario or Sonic or whoever, like make them like a main character, because that'd be awesome. Aquaman. We're getting the solo Aquaman movie. I don't know. I mean, sure, I'll watch it. I'm excited. I like Jason Momoa. He's a cool dude. But DC has been underwhelming. It has. I like their movies. They don't have a movie that I think is bad. I mean, Suicide Squad is not good, but I wouldn't call it bad yet. I like their movies, but I don't love their movies. And if you're making movies, if you're making the big budget, on-screen, big screen adaptation of these beloved characters, I should be loving the movies. And I haven't loved one yet. Am I excited for Aquaman? No. Am I looking forward to Aquaman? Yes, sure, I am. But I talk about Marvel all the time and how much I love them, but I'm not like Marvel only and DC. No, I want to like them all. And like I said, Green Lantern comics are the comics I read the most, so I read more DC comics by a wide margin than I do Marvel comics. But just their movies have not made me love them. They just haven't. So, Aquaman, make me love your universe. Wonder Woman came close. Batman v Superman came close, but I want to love your universe. I don't know if Aquaman is the right way to do that, because he's really far removed from everybody else. I mean, he's not like Batman or Superman where they're like really in the mix with everything. Aquaman is just his own thing, his own world, his own cast. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and hope that it brings this universe where it needs to be. Because I don't want to see this rebooted. I like it. Just make it better. Don't reboot again, for God's sake. I'm so sick of rebooting. Just make it better. Make good movies, Warner Brothers. Bumblebee. Okay, I know what you're thinking. The Transformers spin-off. Why the hell does this exist? You know why it exists? So that Michael Bay can get his damn hands off these characters that people love and give somebody else a chance to actually make a good movie. I'm going to go on record and predict that this is going to be the best critically reviewed Transformers movie ever. Because Michael Bay kept his grubby mitts off of it. There's not going to be the typical garbage that we're used to by now. When The Last Night was coming out, they were talking about Bumblebee being in World War II and Winston Churchill. They were saying that was going to be a big part of that movie, and it was literally 2 shots, maybe even 1 shot. It was a flashback with no dialogue in it that lasted roughly 2 shots. So either they were lying or they took all that cool stuff and saved it for this spin-off. And I hope that's the case. Bumblebee is a fan favorite character. If anybody's going to have a spin-off, it should be him. I did not grow up with Transformers. I don't really have any investment in the lore or in all the characters, but I know it's a big deal to a lot of people. This is going to do it justice. I can feel it in my bones. Whoever this director and writer team are, they are going to look at everything that went wrong with the other ones and say, let's actually learn from our mistakes this time and let's make a good film that, people will like. So, Bumblebee, best Transformers movie ever. I'm going to call it right now, and I hope I'm right. Finally, Bohemian Rhapsody, the last one on the list. This is coming out on Christmas, I think. This is right at the end of the year. This is the biopic, the story of the one, the only Freddie Mercury, lead singer of Queen, one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time. I can't wait. This guy had a very interesting life from what I've heard on VH1 and everything. This guy's life was worthy of a movie like this. I don't know who's playing him anymore. It used to be Sacha Baron Cohen. Now it's somebody else entirely. Hey, as long as you play a great Freddie Mercury, I'll be on board with whatever you do, pal. Just make it a good one. Bohemian Rhapsody is full of potential. I can't wait to hear great music, great covers of their songs. Usually biopics are well done. Like I've said before in the past, they're always anticlimactic, but they're always, for the most part, well done. So I think that Freddie Mercury is deserving of a well-done biopic, and I think that the people who made this movie know that. They're releasing it around award season, which tells me something already. So I have high hopes. I think Bohemian Rhapsody is going to be not only the real life, but fantasy. See what I did there? So that is my 2018 preview. Those are all the movies I'm looking forward to this year. Of course, there's plenty more that I'll end up seeing. Probably some that we don't even know exist yet, because like I said, movies like Skyscraper can come out of nowhere and surprise you. I'm looking forward to seeing all of these, and of course there will be more in the interim, but those are the big ones. Those are the ones that my heart and soul are set on. I really hope this turns out to be a great year, and I'll see you at the movies and then right back here on Thumb Together. See you next time.